welcome to another episode of Podcast.
Hello. It's been a while.
I feel like we always say that it's been a while. There's always like periods of where we just like actually it's just me lah. It's not we, it's me. Okay, it's all me.
Yes, it is called Baldcast. It's not called Yvette and Kenneth cast.
Yvette cast.
Yvette cast.
Welcome to another episode. I cannot speak anymore. Welcome to another episode of Podcast. Today we have no guest, so it's just quality time event.
Wow.
Do you enjoy?
Yes.
Do you love this quality time?
This is date night.
Woo, come and do a podcast that normally listen to. Woo.
Quality time.
Quality indeed.
At least I get R&B tea, I guess.
Yep. And sponsored. Shout out to RMBT, use the promo code podcast.
You wish.
when you buy RMBT, you just need the code podcast. They will give you a $5 off.
This entire drink at $5.
Yeah, you're going to try, okay? You'll try. It works, then let me know. I also want to try. But today we're gonna have a topic which is called rejection, failures. Maybe also thinking about how to be positive. Actually, part of the reason why this podcast nowadays is a bit hard to arrange is because I'm also kind of running out of topics to talk about. It's always easier to have a guest because that's where we also can kind of branch out to other kinds of topics that me and Yvette may not have expertise on. But I guess this one we have expertise on. Failures.
Do I?
Dealing with failure. Do we? We all? Do we? Any of us? Yeah. But I guess in general, I thought it'd be an interesting topic to get into because I guess dealing with so-called failure is something that all of us have to do so at one part of our life or another. So So why are you a failure?
You little bitch.
No attacking.
You call me a failure?
No, not physical, okay? Not getting physical. But no lah, joking. But do you have any recent experience of feeling like you're a failure? How are you?
Oh yeah, I guess I do. Because I just changed new job, right? Then
I don't know why you think so hard, Yuan.
because I was like, I didn't get rejected from this job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it's just general, I feel like I'm failing every day because I feel so stupid. When you're at a new job and then you don't know anything, then you're like, I'm a failure. No? And you're like, why I don't know anything? I can't do anything. I ask so many questions. I'm a failure. No. No, does it happen?
No. So I think
it's just what you define. Okay, wait. At first I thought that maybe we can talk about how rejection is related to failure, or like do we see it as the same thing? It's kind of different.
Yeah, true.
Because at first we thought of talking about the topic of rejection because we met a friend, right? And then we were talking about relationships. So it's like rejecting someone or being rejected in the context of relationships. When you confess to somebody, nice guy syndrome. And then there's also rejection in a form of work, right? You get rejected from job applications or the job that you really want and you tried so hard for.
I guess there's the other,
Right.
which is family, which I
Family. Rejected by family. That's sad.
like your family keep deeming you as a failure, lor. Like they have very high expectations and they sometimes think that
Oh yeah, that's true. We also
making you feel like a failure would actually push you to greater heights.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like a lot of Asian family
Yeah.
would have experienced.
Yeah, but then that's like a slightly different topic from failure, right? Like because there were two branches of failure that you kind of talk about.
Yeah.
Whether you fail in your own expectations and standards, or you fail in terms of society's view.
I mean, we can go both lah. I don't think we have to. I mean, now it's just you just have to choose one and talk about it lor. I guess we can go straight into just talking about when is the last time you
Felt
felt rejected lor. Okay, so maybe I start. Like I think growing up generally, when it comes to in the context of family, I don't think I generally feel like I'm a failure. I guess like that the thing that parents always do in our parents' generation is they like to compare. Or generally people do like to compare lah. And in terms of comparison, I'm actually generally doing a bit better compared to my cousins or whatsoever.
In terms of academics lah.
Yeah, in terms of academics. So it's like generally I did quite well in school. I think I'm the only one who entered a local U in Singapore. A local U in Singapore. What am I talking about? Local U is of course in Singapore.
Maybe you have a listener who's not in Singapore.
Yeah, so I think I'm the only one who went to JC also. Yeah.
But
So-
look, parents always find a way to make you feel like a failure.
Yeah. So in that sense, like generally that's that. I did start off strong when I was younger, because when I was in primary 1, primary 2, I was like first in class, second in class. Then as we move up, I remember primary 3, primary 4, we got what do you call that? Stream lah. Stream, what you put?
That was my dream.
You and your stupid drink. I realized it's not ideal to drink. It's like I need to chew. Then it's like
Got chewing sound
no, it's very uncomfortable to
Oh.
like you try to avoid not to have the sound, right?
Okay. ASMR.
So okay, where was I?
Streaming.
Yeah, so when you stream into the different classes, I got like the smarter people just got to the same class, got better results. And then from first and second in class, I became like 10 in class.
Because you're not as smart compared to the smart people.
Yeah lah. So but I think by the time I'm done with my primary school is actually very small. And even within my class, the grades of the PSLE varies quite big lah. Yeah. So this is still using the old system. Oh my god.
Do they still have streaming nowadays? I wonder.
I think streaming still have.
I thought they're all about like every like making sure students don't feel like a failure. Like you will always find something you're good at. I feel like that's the kind of
if you're gonna
thing they are going
categorize
through.
and look at people's grades, there's no way that you.
That's why they
won't have-
remove grades, what, didn't they?
They remove a certain. They don't put.
Oh, they put
number,
banding
It's
now,
still
right?
banding. It's still
Yeah.
grades. So
Yeah.
it's basically grades that is more like a A level. Like you don't differentiate
Oh.
2 A's.
Oh, is it? I didn't know.
Last time it's like if you
A1, A2, right?
no. Last time it's like you 91 you get A1, A plus, or you get 95 you get A plus. Then people don't differentiate that lah. You know what I
Now
mean?
everybody's an A.
Yeah. I remember back then primary school is like 97. Why you get 97 only? That's what my parents
Why is
say.
it not 100?
Why you careless? Why you careless? You're
Yeah.
always careless. You
And
always
then,
careless.
and then if you get 100, you'll be like, oh, you got 100 ah. Next time you're going to get 100 also.
No, 100 is like, oh, okay lor. Okay lor. Next time, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Just make sure you maintain this. Yeah, there's no praise
It's
from
never
family.
good enough.
Yeah. But I guess, yeah. In
Wait,
some
how
way-
did this turn into a bragging session?
No,
kind
no.
of?
So I'm talking about how that's my experience growing up.
Uh-huh.
But so my sense of failure is when I, for example, don't do very well in school. But very well means I don't get like A plus. If I get B plus, it's like bad. Yeah. Then it's relative, right? When you are expected to, I guess it also links back to expectations lah. When you're expected to do really well and you don't do as well, you're considered like you failed, you know. Versus someone who consistently gets C and suddenly get B, they're like, oh, you have improved. You're not a failure.
That's true.
Yeah. So from that sense, that was how it felt. But I also did mention before, like how the way my parents or like my mom would she always give me backhanded compliment. Yeah. Remember?
Actually you're quite handsome.
Yeah. So she would say like, hey, you actually quite handsome one. Yeah, if you lose weight. Then like, actually you very smart one, but you lazy. So it's always a fucking backhanded one. It's like, good job, but good job. Yeah. So I always kena that. But I also did mention how that shaped me as a person, right? Because rather than always focusing that I'm bad, I in some ways it's told that I can be really good, or like I can be like the cream of the crop, or in whatever area I'm working on or whatsoever. It's just that I have to do something about it. I can't say that that's like the best way of parenting. I mean, I don't know exactly what best way of parenting is, but I guess that also kind of gave me that sense of confidence that, I'm actually a lot better than I am. I can be a lot better than who I am.
Oh.
Yeah, I have that potential.
The
Basically,
backhanded compliment worked.
As much as I don't want to admit it, I think maybe it somewhat worked. Yeah. Because it gave me that idea that I have that potential to get there. Yeah. And I am in control of my destiny lah. I just need to...
And you're an anime maker.
I just need to, for example, lose weight. Then I'll be handsome. Then, for example, I just need to be less lazy, be more hardworking. Then I can be really smart. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, in that sense, rejection and failure didn't really feel that strongly for me. Like, I don't really deal with it all the time. I can't say I always succeed, but I knew that I was never going to be good enough to the level that my parents would praise me.
Oh my god, I realized how we're like quite opposite in terms of I'm always beating myself down.
Yeah.
But then you're as in, what's the word? It's not like you're always lifting yourself up, but you are quite
positive.
Yeah, about yourself. You know what I mean?
I think the clearest way to put it is that you're always a glass half empty. I'm
Oh,
always a
yeah.
glass half full guy. And together we one glass of water. Right?
I keep you grounded and you
Keep kelana you.
keep kelana.
Why would you keep me grounded? Why do I need to be kept grounded?
Instead,
keep me grounded so
you
every day-
drift too far then how?
You every day
you
telling
become
me
deluded.
you're fucking failure. That's like, I'm grounded but I will rise up. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Yvette.
Yeah. Maybe you need a dose of reality and I'm there to deliver it.
No, I don't need no dose
And
of...
like, Kenneth, are you sure?
No,
Kenneth,
no,
are you sure?
I don't need that shit.
No. But talking about like academics now, I was listening to you that I realized something about myself. Like now it all connects, it all makes sense. You know, like how I'm always like, this is not good enough, or like, oh no, if I do something well, then I get stressed out because I'll be like, oh shit, I feel even more stressed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I always do that to myself.
Yeah.
Then I realized how it connects to when I was in school.
How?
Okay, so this is gonna sound like a humble brag, but when I was in school, I always like kind of like the top few people. And then every time I'm top, actually it makes me even more stressed out when I was in school because I'm like, fuck, I gotta maintain. Because I was like, oh no, then next time I also need to be top again. Then I realized, oh wait, this is the same, it's a pattern. It still continues up till today. Because it's like, even up till today, I'm like doing well, but then I'm like, oh no, I'm stressed because then like I need to maintain it. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my god, it connects there. I just realized it.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a pattern of behavior that started when I was a kid.
I mean, the fact that you always enjoy studying.
I don't enjoy studying.
Like
It
Yvette loves want to like take the JLPT.
I haven't-
the Japanese
I haven't,
lesson.
by the way,
Then she like damn
so-
excited. Like, can we sign up for what? I was like, sign up for what? Is
To
it
get
just take lor?
to get
To get
accredited.
good grades.
No, it's to get accredited.
Dude, our accreditation is damn low right now.
Yeah. So
fucking
the
pointless.
point is to work ourselves our way up.
Okay.
Like we want to be N3 at least, right? We haven't even passed N5 or 4 yet.
4? I
think we can go straight to
can
4
go straight.
lah.
We don't
Yeah.
have to go one by one.
But I feel like we need to experience the test first.
No need lah. Experience for what?
So that we can take N4, then
can
we
go-
know what it's like, then go N3 lah.
You can just go straight to it. What? As long as you
Then we
practice.
keep failing, meh? Oh.
What makes you think that you must take? Why are you so structured? You can go straight to it. But if you are good enough, you
Can
practice
lah.
on yourself, you can go straight for it.
Can lah, but then what if we take N3, then we fail?
Fail, then take again lah. You take N4 doesn't mean you're gonna pass N3. What are you talking about? It's
No,
still
but you
doesn't
see,
work
you
that
take
way.
N4, they got experience, then like,
Why
okay,
don't
I know what the
why don't you
JLPT
take
test
N3
is like.
and you go and do past year papers of N3?
Fine, I guess we could also.
You can study for N3 and do N3 rather than go through N4, right? Okay, we
Anyway,
digress
digressing.
a lot. But yeah,
Anyway, the
you say
point
you're
is-
a pattern in school.
Yeah, anyway,
think-
just like
great
that. I
thinking.
just realized that the pattern continues even still when I'm adult. When I got no tests, no standards, no like first position in class to fill, but I still got the same thinking of like, oh no, I'm doing well. Then I get even more stressed out because I'm like, oh no, then there's all these expectations. I don't know where the expectations come from, but anyway,
Actually, I never. Strangely enough, I never. Even if that few times that I have done well, I never felt like I needed to. The stress of needing to maintain. But I do have the stress of needing to do well, but not so much of like this. I don't put that kind of stress on myself. That stress comes from external, from my parents, from my mom, like specifically, because my mom is the one that always push me to do well in school. Yeah.
But actually, all these experiences, like in school, every time I do well, and that joy of like being first is just fleeting, and then that I just feel stressed out. Actually, what that had taught me that there's no point in garnering for all these top positions or comparing also, because the joy is fleeting.
Wait, when you have this realization, when is it? Now lah.
I don't, not now lah. When I was in my early 20s, I'm a bit older.
But you finished school already lah.
Yeah lah. Then I was like, hey, actually, what's the point of even trying? See, that's why now I'm proud to say I got no ambition.
You say that while you still worry about losing your job on your first few weeks of your new workplace.
I still want to do well, but I got no ambition to, rise up to be something. I just need to earn enough for myself. And to be in a job that is still relatively challenging without being too all-consuming.
But I don't know, I feel like this is a very ironic thing that you're saying, because whatever you're saying, sometimes how you behave doesn't match with how you're saying.
I know, that's why I'm so conflicted. Do I have ambition or not?
I don't have ambition. Then when the opportunity comes, then you FOMO.
Oh, sometimes I guess.
Do you feel that way?
Wait, but what opportunity?
I don't know, like your work, like you get to, like maybe it's to compete for a position that you may be interested in.
I think I will always get caught up in that, because I'll be like, oh no, I feel like I must want it. But actually, when I pull myself back, do I even want it? It's a question that I need to ask myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like I do get caught up in that like rat race or whatever. But then actually, at the end of the day, I think about it, that's not even really what I want. Then I always have to keep reminding myself, like, I feel. Maybe I do have I have an innate competitiveness, so I always have to reel myself back.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
Because I have to remind myself, like, wait, does this even matter?
I'm just trying to think like how my brain works. So sometimes I also don't really think about it. Like when you are yourself, everything comes naturally, right? Until you start talking to people or start hearing about how people think, then you realize, oh, actually the way I think can be very different from how some people actually process this kind of stuff.
Because I realized, I could sound hypocritical. Because it's like, I say I got no ambition. And at the same time, I applied for, the company that I'm currently at, which other people look and think that it's like a place that is very competitive, is for people with ambition and drive or whatever. Yeah. Right? But then I say I got no ambition. And at the same time, I try out for this role anyway. Yeah. And I'm in this company. So it's like, I could seem like a hypocrite.
Guys, humble brag.
No.
I'm joking.
It's also like conflicting. I'm more conflicting myself. I'm not conflicting. Yeah, contradicting myself. Yeah. Right? But at the same time, I didn't even, like, it's not like I joined the company because I'm ambitious, because I have the drive to succeed. You know what I mean? I just joined to try. So I don't know, do I have ambition or not?
I think your brain works very different from mine. Like, if I got into a really good place, I'll be like, okay, I'm damn chai lor. I will attribute it to
your abilities.
Sure, I have privilege or whatever, but I also, in some ways, I will just recognize it as it's something I managed to do lah, and I will take it as a way to boost myself. Yeah, like recognizing or reaffirming that I'm actually decent, like not bad. I'm definitely not. I'm not the best. I'm not like probably.
But you're not bad.
So-called scholar quality, whatever. But I know my own strength, and and I recognize it, and I take pride in it lah.
But then I'm the opposite, because I'm like, my mindset is if I can get in, then I immediately go, oh, then it's not that hard, what?
Yeah, just because I can get in means it's not
everyone
that hard. Because I'm not that great anyway, and I got in. Yeah, right? It sounds familiar.
That's me.
That's your thought process.
And then Kenneth will scold me, because he'll be like, hey, you go outside and say this kind of thing, people will whack you.
Yeah, I got into this really good place. Yeah, lor. It's just like that, lor.
But I don't know. But it's not like I'm looking down on other people. Like say it's so easy, why you cannot do it. It's more like if I can do it, I believe that other people can do it too. You know.
But I think it also links this links back to your perspective of being scared of being complacent.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think you actively push yourself down because you feel like once you're complacent, you will
Start to
stop
fall.
trying. You'll stop trying and you'll start falling.
And start failing.
The thing is, you're not even complacent and you're already feeling that
I'm
you're
a failure.
So
It's a lose-lose situation.
it's a lose-lose situation that I also don't know how to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I guess Kenneth is a glass half full person who helps me sometimes.
I don't know whether I help or not. Because sometimes it's also frustrating. But then I'm like, I like as a boyfriend, like I need to also listen more than I trying to. Like there was once recently, I kind of like was very harsh in critiquing you
I can't remember what it's about.
for being harsh on yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you were
What's it
saying
about?
that that's not what you want to hear.
Oh yeah, I remember
But I
now.
also explained to you that like it's like from someone who cares about someone who you, what am I saying? Like if there's someone you care about and you see that someone is bullying them, you obviously will feel upset. Yeah, regardless of whether that person bullying is someone external or themselves bullying themselves. Yeah. So I think that's where I was a bit like upset and I wish that you could be less
Self-critical.
self-critical, yeah, self-critical or like yeah, lor, don't be so harsh on yourself, lor. Yeah. You always hear this
Yeah.
telling
5 years
you
already.
this
Yeah.
every
But
time.
our brains are just wired differently.
Yeah. But for me, okay lah. I try to think. I didn't know that when I got my O-level results, I was damn upset and I cried after I get it. And it wasn't even that bad. I got 12 points, which is like instead of getting A1 for everything, which is 6 points, right? I get almost A2 for everything. So it's like I barely made it. And then it's like you double the score, right? 6 to 12 is literally doubling the score. And I was very disappointed with myself lah. Yeah. And I felt like did I feel like my future is ruined? No, not really. But yeah, I
But you know what I realized? I realized this conversation about failing and grades is very failing in the eyes of Singaporean society.
yeah, it is
Because Singaporeans are very,
academic driven.
especially when you're a kid.
Yeah. But that's the main sense of failure I felt, I think, at that time. After that, don't know leh. When do you have any time that like the sense of failure really, really drags you down in any part of your life?
When you get rejected from a job you really want. Because, I mean, I wouldn't say, studying was okay for me.
Or like the whole academic.
It was okay for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I get what I mean. I feel a lot more relaxed after I become an adult. Because I don't have to. I can choose to do things that I care about more than doing things that I don't care about. For example, memorizing for an exam that I not even that interested. It's just fucking painful for me. Whereas like now it's like I can find a niche to be good at and I can focus on that.
oh, I know. Maybe feeling like a failure in terms of, the work that we do, our day jobs, not really what we really like to do, right? And is passionate about. Like for yours to be maybe YouTube or making podcasts or whatever. And then mine will be like I want to write fiction. Then sometimes, but I guess it's always comparison, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. When you compare to other people, then you see them, fellow Singaporeans who are somehow publishing books, getting made into movies or whatever. And then you're like, what? Wait, people want to publish books written by Singaporeans? You mean we can do it too? then I've maybe that isn't rejection though, but it feels like, oh shit, I'm
Not
already
good enough.
30 and haven't written any fucking thing that could potentially be published, you know?
Mm.
Then I feel like a failure because I'm like, what? Wait, I could be working harder at this thing that I really want to succeed in, but I'm not. So then I feel like, then that makes me feel bad about myself, right? Like I'm not trying hard enough to chase something that I really want, you know? Yeah. Or like when somebody is a shitty writer and then he gets published, they're like, wait, what? What?
I guess in my mind, when I have situations like this, I always see it as there's always some form of trade-off. Yeah, when people have some good things that happen to them, or like they talk about how they managed to reach this, actually there's always a trade-off lah. Like maybe they spend less time on certain things, or for X number of years they were struggling financially, mentally, in order to get this project or this thing, this quest that they have to get it done. So in my mind, that's how I process it. Like, in some ways I felt like I rather be happy and comfortable, like general happiness, like general contentment for majority of my time, than to feel depressed for a large amount of time and getting that really great high of achieving something that is extraordinary.
See, this is also where we differ. Like you would think like this, and then this like helps you deal with those feelings.
Yeah.
But then for myself, like I will have this kind of thought process, like, oh, I'm sure they got their own trade-offs, and then cause like the life I'm leading now, I'm like financially stable, it's comfortable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to trade it for what they might have or might not have endured to get where they are. But then I would think like, but then that doesn't mean I can't do it. What? I'm just not doing it because I'm lazy or whatever. You know, like I find myself beating myself up for making excuses.
It sounds like my mom inside your head.
So I have your mom in my
failure.
head.
Damn, I guess if my mom is in my head all the time, I probably would be like you. Then.
Oh shit.
You can have done it. You can have done this too. Lazy. Yeah. You can be a doctor too. It's just you're lazy. You're just like, whatever. Yeah, I don't really want to be a doctor anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But anyway.
I think the only time I felt like I don't consider a failure. I guess when it comes to relationship, at least at the start, because like never really
So
felt
then that becomes more like a rejection kind of.
not so much rejection, but just in general, like I mean, you're not rejected if you never go and approach a girl. What? It's like
True. You can't be rejected if
you can't fail if you don't try. Quote of the day.
mantra.
You can't fail if you don't try. I mean, like growing up not being very attractive, sometimes it's like I also look at like people around me and how guys who are so-called more better looking or like cuter, they get a lot more female attention. Yeah, and I think like I always envy that. Yeah, because it's happening right in front of me. I think a lot of what we are talking about, actually, a lot of times it end up, it's all relative, it's all about comparison. It's all about someone has done this, someone is able to get this.
Comparison is a thief of
And then,
joy.
yeah, and then if you don't have that, you'll be like, fuck, but I want it, but I'm not able to get it as easily as this person. Yeah. So in that sense, I don't have a lot of confidence in terms of how I look. Yeah, and
Actually, like, you know, like things like like comparing looks or whatever, I feel like it's a very common, like I'm sure everybody feels it at some point in their life, right?
yeah, and so I'm also trying to think that like the way my brain works, I probably don't think. Am I a funny kid in primary school? I can't remember, but I actively realized I'm the funny kid when I'm in secondary school. I think partly also because I also realized like I can't get attention just by being who I am in somewhat. And I realized I can get attention when I make people laugh. Yeah, when I joke about it and then kind of a bit self-deprecating.
I told you, right, one of my new colleagues asked me, oh, what attracted you to your boyfriend? Then I said, oh, cause he makes me laugh lor, he's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's also okay. This one may also spill into the whole gender thing because I think as guys, you're not good looking. They will tell you things like, you can always make up for your lack of look, which you can't change by doing things that you can have control of. For example, be a funnier
Money.
person, have a personality, make a lot of money. So there's always a way out from all this. Yeah. Whereas I think for girls, the society tend to be harsher on girls lah. Like if you are not good looking, they don't give you a way out. Like what do you have? Like work hard and earn a lot of money. Nobody will say that when you're young. Right? Nobody says that, right?
Yeah.
To girls, I don't think so, no? Yeah, but for guys,
That's true.
they always have this kind of
Because the mindset is like,
comments.
oh, you better marry well, right?
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
need to look good to marry well.
Okay lah, but then maybe that's because in our parents' generation, my mom, like, didn't go uni or whatever, right? Like, our parents weren't, well, as in they didn't go to uni, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard also for women to earn something that leads to better standard of living if you don't have higher education lah. But then whereas now, maybe, I don't know, will our generation raise their daughters differently? I don't think... Do you think they'll say things like, oh, you better marry well or find a good guy to marry? Maybe not. Because I think it's still very like,
To
okay,
be
do
fair-
well in school.
To be fair, I think it's hard to say from our social circle. Because
Oh.
our social circle is a very niche group, I feel.
Which are uni grads.
Uni grads, mainly Chinese,
Yeah.
privileged class. So I recognize that also lah. And I also realize like there's still a lot of differing views even within our age group. I would like to believe that there is definitely some improvement. But I don't think it is to the extent that everybody will be felt that will actually be raised up in that kind of values.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of your friends are a little bit more liberal. My friends are a bit more conservative, but they are not the... I think they go with the times, but they are not the actively support kind of.
Yeah.
Versus I think your friends are a bit more, what do you call that? Vocal.
Liberal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friends are generally quite all conservative. Like, if things happen, bad things, like government made a bad choice, we'll just be like, life's like that, lor. We just have to deal with it, lor. And we'll live with it. We will not be happy, but we won't actively make noise about it, lah. Yeah, I won't say make noise, lah. Okay, that's a bad way to... I'm not saying your friends are making noise. I try to retract it. Yeah, but you get what I mean, lah.
Yeah.
It's a different mentality, I feel.
Yeah.
So even the social group between our friends are quite different.
Yeah. I mean, we're also in different fields, maybe that's why. As in your friends compared to my friends. But anyway, as a woman, I'm always grateful to have had education and
Yeah.
being able to earn my own keep. It's like just seeing my own parents, I'm like, was always determined. I always say this, but I'm always determined that I will always forever want to earn my own keep and have my own money, no matter how rich or whatever my husband will be, you know? Because I'm like, no, I'm gonna depend on myself.
I mean, one of the things I also felt like for us, we opened a joint account, right? And remember like the conversation about how much money we should put in. Should we put in a percentage of our income? Yeah, I'm the one who I felt like
You should put in more because you earn more.
no, so initially it's like percentage, right? So percentage, our values will be different. But I felt like I wanted whatever we spend on the joint account to be equally owned by us lah. Yeah, then whoever has more money, I say that person can make up for it one way or another lah.
Which I didn't mind because I wanted to have equal stake.
Yeah, I mean, I are you open to talk about like who earn more that kind?
Sure, if you
Yeah.
don't mind.
I mean, I don't mind lah. Because I also just had this conversation with my friends. Quite
Oh.
interesting. So yeah, so previously I earned more than Yvette. And now Yvette's new job, she actually earns more than me. Yeah. And I thought it's quite a interesting
Dynamic.
dynamic, yeah. Which I also took, I think I would say I had struggles, but it made me like take a step back and think about it. Because I think for majority part of our relationship, in terms of like being someone who earns more than you, doing things that requires me to pay more is one of the ways that I use to show that I care for you lah. Yeah, and
Like pay for
and, yeah,
meals.
paying for meal, just spending money for you in general is something. It's a way of expression lah. Somewhat, yeah. So when this whole dynamics got switched, my initial thoughts is that, oh, cause now you earn more, then you will pay more for meals. Yeah. Then when I thought about it, I was like, oh shit. Then that portion of me being able to show that I care will now be taken away from me. Yeah. Then does that make me feel lesser as a partner? Yeah. Like, oh shit, I cannot express my concern or like my appreciation or care in that way anymore. Yeah. So that was my initial thoughts. Then after a while, I realized that firstly, like, it doesn't fucking matter whether you earn more or not. Like, the fact that I want to spend money to pay for meals doesn't need to... Although it started off from the fact that I earn more than you, just because now things are switched doesn't mean that... It's not like earning less. Yeah, it's you earning way more. So I can still like pay for meals if I want to. Yeah. So that's my thought process. And I realized that actually at the end of the day, it's a win-win for us. Yeah. Because if we are going to build a life together, then additional money is both of our income increase. Means we can do more things together. Yeah.
Although I have to say that I'm still not used to earning more. As in, like, not just earning more than you, just earning more in general.
Yeah.
Like, it still feels weird. Not weird, but it doesn't... Like, when I pay for... What?
Oh no, sorry, continue.
I don't know. What's this?
No,
What's this, Kenneth?
I'll be like, you will get used to it. This kind of thing. It's like personal problem. Oh no, look at me. I earn more money. Oh no, I'm not used to it. You even hear yourself.
No, I'm saying in terms of paying for meals. Because every time we go out, usually you pay for like if the meal cost is like $70 or whatever, then you pay for it. But then now, like, when I pay for it, I'm like not used to it because at the back of my mind I'm thinking, wow, can I afford it? Then I realized I can. Or like
you have to go through that very quickly in that 1 millisecond. Can I afford it? Oh yeah, I can. Then you just move on.
Yeah, because at the back of my mind I'd be like, oh no, then I'll be like spending more and saving less. Because I track my spending.
But then now it's like you're spending more and you're saving more.
Yeah. Shit. You're right. Whoops.
It's a woman's brain. I cannot.
Oh my god, you're right. I can think of it that way.
Yeah, you're spending more and you're saving more. So you're still a win-win.
Yeah.
And you're still spending the same X amount of time doing work.
Or even less nowadays, actually.
For now lah.
For now, fingers crossed.
For now lah. Depending on how much you want to push yourself also, right?
Yeah. I mean, the company were trying to push us to be more productive, right?
Yeah. So going back to feeling like a failure after we humble brag about our pay.
No. I'm not humble bragging.
I think we can go straight into like about relationships.
What, rejection in our context of it? Okay, so like what you say just now, you cannot get rejected if you never try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never confessed or anything like that before, so I've never been rejected.
So because that's how you felt, like if I don't confess, I won't get rejected?
I just never felt the urge to confess either.
I mean, how many of your female friends actually confess to guys?
Ooh, good question.
I would like to know.
I also don't know.
I want to get stats.
Let me think.
I mean, my assumption is that...
Have.
But that is when they already quite sure that the guy likes them.
No. I think it's when they really like the guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I can't remember whether it was like a I like you confession or like an indication that they want to pursue more. I can't remember, but I feel like that I think have. Like one friend maybe.
Quite rare lah.
Yeah.
I think for guys generally we are expected to
But in general, like when my friends get in a relationship, it's because the guy
confess first, right? Usually that's the case lah. Guys are expected to do the chasing. Yeah. So I guess for me, I have properly chased. I don't even know whether I consider properly chased you.
My God, we had this conversation before. You
Yeah.
didn't. He never chased
Oh,
me.
your life very hard leh.
Yeah, exactly. Aren't you lucky I never reject? Oh no, these podcasts won't even happen.
But yeah, it's quite interesting because I think I've shared this before too about how growing up I always end up chasing. I guess maybe I also was, I wouldn't say brainwashed, but influenced by media about how the guy can always get the girl if he is very determined and loyal and persistent. Yeah,
I think this relates to the nice guy syndrome.
yeah, it does.
Right,
Then,
you want to explain that a bit more for people who don't know what that is?
nice guy syndrome. Do people not know? Nice guy is when, okay, so I think I don't know whether a lot of guys have that sense, but I like someone who is not very attractive. You tend to think that as long as you are nice to a girl long enough, they will somehow they will finally truly see who you are. This beautiful pearl that is inside of you, outside this ugly ass cloister.
Cloister.
I don't know. I can think of Pokemon. Oyster, the clam, this shell, this rugged shell. When they open up, finally they can see that beautiful pearl. Yeah. So I think a lot of guys have.
And then
people generally, the nice guy syndrome comes from people who are not attractive. Let's put it that way.
But then it's like became this toxic thing, right? I mean, online you hear these stories of guys saying that I'm so fucking nice to her, why she don't like me?
Yeah.
Right? That's toxic.
So, where should I go with this? Because I'm just thinking about, like, there's this part of me where when I was really nice to the person, like maybe if I continue to be nice to her despite being rejected, then she really realized that, hey, I'm actually a nice guy. And like I don't lash it out on her. So that was, I guess, my strategy when I'm pursuing someone that I really like and they don't like me.
There's also an aspect of nice guy syndrome, right? It's like being that good friend, but actually you got ulterior motive.
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah. So I also thought about it, and I think I also kind of had that conversation with myself, like. Yes. So I think I think earlier on I also had that reflection on myself that like if I'm nice to them, it doesn't mean that they need to be nice back at me. It's like cliche. If I love this person, it doesn't mean that I'm entitled for that person have to love me back. Right? It's always what if I'm doing nice thing to that person, it's a one-sided thing. They didn't ask to be treated nicely for, right? And it's all on me to deal with it, to deal with the fact that if they don't like me and they don't want to reciprocate, then I have to accept it Then and with that mentality, I guess it's like good because I'm self-aware. But at the same time, actually, it is quite I hated that part, that version of me, because I'm always damn emo.
You're a simp.
Yeah.
You're a sad simp.
Yeah, but yeah, so I always damn emo when I'm like really chasing someone that doesn't want me. Yeah. So which is interesting because yesterday, I don't know, I told you before, like the one of the friend that that we had dinner with, she used to be someone I liked.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's very funny when we were having dinner, then my other friend was like, we were having, I think, what were we talking about? We're talking about like relationships lah. Then he came and share me, that time like uni, 3rd year, 4th year, weren't you chasing this person? Then I just, because she also there, then I never eye contact with her. I'm just like, huh? Huh? Then she's like, oh, the one you chase very hard for that. Huh? Then like, then the, what's her name? Then like I don't know what she pointed. Then I was like, oh, my ex Then I was like, oh, that one is year 1, year 2 not the year 3, year 4.
Oh, so your that friend didn't know it's that friend.
Yeah. So I don't know what it, but then I was just like, yeah. Yeah lah. That was so awkward for her. But I found it hilarious. And I think at this point of time, we are quite quite chill with it already lah. So after that, I actually texted her. I say like I just want to say that just now when my friend said this, I panicked. Then she say she also don't want to say anything because she also don't know how many other people I have chased.
Oh, she know that you were chasing her.
She know.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was quite quite funny lah. But I'm quite glad that we are able to talk about it because it's been years since that happened. And I guess that also helped me. Like I got a bit emotional after that cause when texting about it, like talking to her and like laughing about it because I felt like it kind of allowed me to accept that part of me who I kind of hated to be.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it kind of like a resolution somewhat lah. Like that version of me is not invalid. Yeah.
And
it's
maybe,
still who I am and it's okay because I was still young and naive and I have a very idealistic thought about what relationships should be or the kind of relationships I want. Yeah. So
maybe you see that it's not as ugly as you remember it to be.
yeah, I remember it. Like now, when I look back at some of these things, like when I was being rejected and I was still like not say forcing my way, but really trying very hard to still get their attention and still hope for the best. It's when I look back, it's damn cringe lah, right? Then I also realized, looking at this, I also realized how much I've changed. Yeah, and I've grown, and I realized that I don't have to dislike that
part of yourself.
Yeah, that version of me when I'm growing up, because I think that ultimately made me learn and made me become who I am today lah. Yeah. So I don't know, is that linked to failure and rejection? I don't know, maybe. But being rejected by girls was a norm for me. Yeah. Like, yeah, it for the longest time, it just felt like a miracle to like someone and have someone like you back at the same time. I mean, not without Tinder or whatever, like they match with you, whatever, but like the idea of like, oh, I really like this person, but will that person like me back? You know, you try to get their attention, you try to do things and you know whatever, make them laugh, whatever, but then you realize that, oh wait, they don't see you. They're not able to see you like the way that you see them lah.
But it's okay, I grew up fat and ugly too. Why
would that make me feel better?
No, so I relate. I'm like the female version. Except that I never chase or confess. I just like, okay, I'm fat ugly.
So I just like, yeah, growing up with all this rejection when it comes to relationship, I guess that also made me felt like when I get one, I will really, really cherish it. And I will really, really make it work. Which is part of the reason why me and my ex didn't work.
Why?
Because I have an idealistic idea of that this relationship will definitely will definitely go through all the way lah. And I tried to be someone that I'm not. Yeah. And trying to be very giving, trying not to, and avoid conflicts majority of time. And that leads to actually more problems lah, because you're not dealing with the issue, you're always just avoiding it just by giving in. Yeah, and over time I became very there's sort of resentment lah over time, because I just feel very tired of trying to be the nice guy and trying to give in and always tiptoeing because I just don't want to upset this person. Yeah.
But you know, growing up unattractive, right, as a teenager or whatever, do you ever feel sad they never get that teenage dream kind of romance?
I mean, I have to say, like, one thing that sometimes I've thought about it is that, like, I never had the chance to fuck around growing up. Yeah. In my late teens and like just have many different relationships with different girls. Okay,
phew. I was like, why you fuck around?
No, that,
fuck what?
Fuck my hand. So I mean I thought about it lah, but at the same time I also realized like I don't know whether it's copium or not, but and then like just because you had that experience doesn't mean you are a happier person. Yeah. And I'm quite happy with how I've turned out, where I am today, how I think and how I process stuff. And yeah, I don't think I really regret it in that sense. I mean, sure, it would be nice, but at the same time, there's a lot of other things that are nice that turn out well for me too. So yeah, I can't really fully complain either. Do you feel like you miss that teenage dream, so-called?
Only because it sounds, the pop music making sound so romantic. Every time you read like those books like YA romance, it also sounds so like romantic and shit. But then when you were talking, I was like thinking about like how I guess when you're a teenager and then you are in a relationship, it can consume you, right? I would imagine if you're not studying, then you're always occupied with your partner.
Yes.
But then because we didn't have that, so I think we filled our time with a lot of other things. So like for myself, I really got into like reading and like trying my hand at writing fanfic when I was a teenager, and I was posting on Quizilla. So I was very developed that side of my interest and really being involved in that space online. So I felt like that was also formative for me in a way.
When you say this, I'm just thinking my version of that is I just play a lot of games.
Yeah. So
is that formative? Does that make me a better person?
I mean, it gives us certain hobbies that we still have until today, right?
Yeah.
So, because I was recently on this Reddit, there I saw this subreddit where this person asked, people in your like 30s or late 20s, how do you find any excitement in life? Like what gets you excited or like whatever? Because you say I'm so bored, like I'm in my late 20s and I'm so bored, like I just go to work and then outside work I got nothing to do. You know?
So
but then I'm like, wow, I don't deal with that because I can find so many things to do outside of work that I wish I don't have to work and I can retire straight away. You know what I mean? So I felt like being a teenager where you spend a lot of time working on things outside of, I don't know, if you didn't have a relationship to distract you. Because I feel like I have a lot of things I love doing, outside of being with you, outside of work,
It's like you can really enjoy spending time alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that contributes. I don't know, because I mean, I'm sure I have a lot of friends who had relationships when they were a teenager and they have fulfilling lives outside of work and their partner also lah. But for me, I think that might have contributed.
Never thought about it that way though. Interesting.
Because a lot of things I enjoyed doing as a kid, I still enjoy doing today.
True. I mean, but gaming wise was an escape for me for the most part growing up lah. Yeah, it's something that I really enjoyed, and my parents are like, rather my mom will actively try to stop me from doing it because she feels like if I play game my brain cells will rot. But it's something that I guess it's like so sometimes to a point where like the more they don't want you to do it, the more the more strongly you want to do it. Yeah. And I crave for it because it's like so rare, right? And like I really needed that hit. Give just one more hour. One more
Shit.
one more hour.
Oh, gross.
But I never thought about it that way. Is that
But then I guess like when I do all these things, I don't feel like I'm wasting time because I'm enjoying doing it also.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like maybe some people
But it's true that like I think people around our age, there are a lot of people with doesn't have a hobby.
Huh, really, man?
Yeah.
Wait. Is watching Netflix and drama considered a hobby? It could be a hobby.
Somewhat. Yeah.
But that's what most people do.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe yes, no. I mean, watching show is just watching show. It's like drinking water. I feel like it's like eating food. Then you enjoy a good show.
Yeah. Scrolling on Instagram, whatever, is like drinking water.
I mean,
like social media, I feel nowadays.
If you think about it, it's like someone is like, oh, my passion is I love watching movies. They'd be like, everybody loves to watch movies, good movies.
Yeah, but then there are some people who really like watching movies. They watch all the indie flicks, all this kind, I mean,
True.
that is. Would you then consider that more of a hobby than, let's say, I love watching Marvel movies,
I love watching Marvel movies. It's like everyone.
That's my hobby.
That's all the Marvel fanboys out there. I don't know. Actually, I don't know lah. How do you define hobby even? It's like someone saying that my passion is to travel.
Who doesn't like traveling?
Yeah, I mean, okay lah. I have to say some people don't, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or maybe it's
It sounds very flat for some reason.
Or maybe-
Not trying to diss people
whose hobby is traveling.
who's traveling or to love. I love watching Netflix, but
No, maybe we only say this because like I don't feel I can watch Netflix all the time. I think if I watch too much Netflix, after a while I feel empty.
yeah.
For me, that's what happens. So
Yeah.
I feel like a hobby for me is something that makes after I do it or when I'm doing it, I feel fulfilled. I feel engaged. I feel happy. I feel satisfied. I think that's
for you.
for me. That's what I would consider a hobby, and that's why like reading and writing is my hobby.
I don't think I feel that for games though. But I do find it fun. I do find it relaxing most of the time. So it's a way for me to decompress. It's a way for me to escape and like be not thinking about some of the stresses, micro stresses that I have around in my life.
But I think the escape, like for me, like my hobby can also be an escape. But after I do it, it doesn't make me feel empty. You know what I mean?
Actually,
Like,
it depends on how
whereas-
much you do it lah. I think okay. So one example I have is like I know this I tried a lot, but I think it's fine. There was the period I told you before where I was doing night classes, right? So that time was like I think Monday, Thursday I have night classes. Friday is off day. Saturday I might have night class every now and then. So for that period of time, my weekdays are totally gone one. Basically, I don't have time for myself one. Like you work, then you go for night classes, and then you go home. Like I would try to still do the things I want to do, like watch Running Man. I remember back then I still watch Running Man, and I couldn't finish an episode, and I watched halfway. I want to fall asleep already. So I remember that period of time, like I just feel very like I guess tired about everything. I was very exhausted towards the end after 2 or 3 months, and I think I didn't have the time to play games as well. Yeah, which made me. I don't think I was depressed or what lah. Yeah, it just made me realize how important decompressing after work is to me. Yeah, I mean nowadays I also run, I play games. You see, sometimes I stream. Yeah, so these are ways for me to decompress, I feel, and I think these are important to me, at least for now. And I'm glad that I at least have something that I can fall back on spending time alone. Yeah, so I can see how it can be difficult for people when they don't have a hobby. Life does feel quite
Empty,
meaningless.
yeah.
Like what's next?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing to do. I watch a show. But after a show, I still feel empty, right? Yeah. So
Finding things to do lor.
I have to say sometimes. So there are sometimes I play a game, I play too much. I also do feel empty after playing it too much. Because I play so much already. Does that make me a better person? I don't think so. But I guess the difference is that it engages the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes me think. I strategize, whatever. Yeah, I try to think ahead. Yeah, so I guess the fact that it engages my brain, like do some problem solving, I think that is something that I enjoy lah.
Just wonder if let's say I don't have if like we don't spend time together, what other things will I do besides reading and writing? Maybe I'll like find times to go in. Maybe I'll sign up for more pottery classes, for example. Hey, why you laugh?
Copium. That is my favorite word. By the way, if you don't know what copium means it's a combination of coping, like coping with a trauma or coping with something bad, and opium, which is a drug. So when you say things like this to make yourself feel better,
smoking a drug.
Yeah, taking copium. You're smoking copium.
No lah, I'm just saying how would I feel my time if I don't have somebody to date, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll go for more pottery. Maybe I will really focus on Japanese classes.
For me, if I'm not into game, I will focus on fitness.
Copium.
Actually, what would I do if I don't play games?
No, I'm not saying that you don't play games. What will you do on top of play? Because you can't play games all the time. So what else would you do? Will you be working out more?
I think I'll go out more. I'll try to jio friends, which is what I do lah.
Which is
I
you
like
do
to hang out
anyway,
with friends, like one-on-one and stuff like that. Yeah, I organize hangouts try to.
That's true. I'll probably hang
I fill
out
my
with
time
friends
usually
more.
with some of this lah, but I try not to overdo it also, cause I also like feel tired. I just want to sit there and play game and chill. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I will take up pottery more. I could have been a master potter if I wasn't with Kenneth. Hi.
Master craftsman.
Yeah, exactly. Master potter.
Master Potter. Did you get the reference?
No.
Master Potter.
Snape.
Yeah.
I was like wondering, is it Snape or Lucius Malfoy, Then I realized, it's Snape, okay.
Master Potter. Okay, I can't do it. But
Damn lame.
in other news,
In other news,
I don't know. Do we
I think
do
we
we go
already
back-
covered. I mean,
dealing with rejection?
oh, yeah. How do you
Copium,
deal
smoke
with
lots
it?
of copium.
No, you just had to think things happen for a reason. Like, for example, when I got rejected from that Changi Airport group job, remember? Then at first I was like, I got rejected. I think it would be the perfect job because it only take me 20 minutes to go to work. Right? And like at that point in time, Changi Airport was like a great place to work, right?
Yeah.
It was like seen as a good job.
Just before COVID.
That was like way before COVID. It was
yeah,
before
yeah.
my iPOS job.
Oh yeah. No.
Yes, I got rejected, then I got iPOS.
Oh okay.
Yeah. But then, if I didn't go iPOS, I wouldn't have gone to the next job. And then after the next job, I would have gotten where I am now.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Everything happened for a reason, guys.
Okay lah. I
That's
don't.
how I deal with it.
Usually I don't like to say like everything happens for a reason. I'm more of the you can find a reason in everything that happens lah. Yeah. That's how I see it lah.
Or is it just because one door closed doesn't mean another one won't open?
I think it's no. So I think it's more about always looking back and like learning from it, rather than thinking like there's a.
So it's my way smoking
it's like
copium.
higher being is like you're gonna suffer now because this is planned for you. Like I
no
don't look
lah.
at it that way lah.
No, I don't think of it that way. I'm just saying
yeah.
that like actually looking back, that rejection doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like reflecting. It's
hindsight,
always
yeah.
reflecting. Yeah. So it's same. I also think that way. But now it remind me like that period of time where I was trying to find a new job. Yeah, and I'm not getting any good interviews of places that I really want to go. That was quite depressing. It made me feel like a failure. It made no. I think it's more like the way I look at it was that I realized that I'm not as shy as I am, not as great as I am. But in some ways I found specific, like I try to seek reasons to why things could pan out that way, and reasons that are not things that put me down. So my brain works like, okay, now I'm not getting any offer, so I start thinking why. So it's like, okay, I realize that for example, whatever my scope that I've written and I've highlighted, the things that I highlighted, the skill sets that I've gained in this organization in the past 8 years, they are not very relevant to the places that I want to go lah. So I look at it from that perspective, and I don't put myself down in that sense. I saw it as it's just a factual thing that these don't align, which is why recruiters are not getting back to me. Yeah. So in my mind, then I start, okay, then what should I do? Like, then I shouldn't tunnel myself into certain positions that I really want. And if I don't get it, my life is in ruins kind of thing. So I started to be less picky in some ways, cast my net out and just try lah and see where I can go. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's how I dealt with it lah. So I never felt like I was a failure despite it, the whole process, because it is mentally draining to get rejected all the time. Yeah. But there are ways in my I can't say that this works for everyone because the way that everybody deals with things like this differs from person to person. But at least that's how I saw it, and that's how I cope with it. And I mean, I guess it worked out for me somehow eventually, because the way I look at it is like, it's like relationship, right? You just need to hit once right. Yeah, so you may fail a lot of time, but it's okay. You just need to get it right once. Somewhat that's how I see it And it's the same for job application as well. Yeah, that's how I deal with. I guess that's how I deal with rejection. Maybe.
I just remember one thing that how I also dealt with. Like I guess it's failure in a way. Like when there was this point in my first job when I felt very depressed. And like not depressed, but just feel very down about the whole work situation. And then one way I dealt with like this, like, and then every day felt just like a waste of my time or whatever. So to deal with that feeling of like failure, I will go running, because then I can still tell myself that, you know what, at least I ran today. I accomplished something. So that helped me too. Yeah.
I think
so
running,
at least,
running.
I mean, it's not just like running, it's the fact that I can tell myself I completed something. So
something
that
meaningful.
helped me feel less of a failure for that day. You know? Like it made me feel like less that day was a waste. Yeah.
Actually, now to say this, the waste thing, it was I was listening to, I think I mentioned to you, I was listening to the podcast about timekeeping. I mentioned to you before, right? About how the idea of wasting time is actually relatively modern, the industrial age concept, where they want people to be more productive. That's where they started to talk about how time is as though like a resource. Like you need to cherish your time. You only have X amount of hours a day to do what you want to do, and like if you don't use your time fruitfully, you are there's a, I think they link it back to religion or something
like you go to hell.
You go to hell, like you are it's blasphemous, that kind of shit
Yeah.
So I also realized that that's true. Like time is at the end of the day kind of like a human construct
It is what.
Yeah, so it's just our way to measure the passing of moments. Yeah, and I also start to realize that we don't have to be so harsh on ourselves on so-called wasting time. We don't have to be so harsh on ourselves on not being able to achieve X amount of things by a certain age, because it doesn't matter as much in the big picture. Yeah, I feel like I don't know, this is a bit philosophical already somewhat.
Last time when I was a kid, right, like one of my aunts will say, you know, you need to, because I was fat, right, so she'd be like, you need to lose weight now, because when you get older it'll be hard to lose weight. So when she told me that as a kid, then actually like that always stuck with me. I was like, oh no, I'm old now, I can't lose weight as easily. Then I realized, people our age are still losing weight all the time. What?
Yeah.
That's a false concept.
I mean, it's harder because you become more lazy, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
true.
harder because I think time that work you feel mentally I guess
that's
more
true.
exhausted.
Okay, but
So
I guess how it
harder
connects
in those
to,
sense
but I guess how it connects to what you were saying is that like actually I don't have to lose weight by this age. I can be on a constant journey to improve my health.
Yeah. And like even if you fail once, you doesn't mean you are back to square one
Yeah. It doesn't mean that it's over because I'm old.
Yeah.
You can keep going.
Correct.
You know.
So
Like like I was telling you, Murakami, that author that I told I'm reading about, he said he's hit his peak running fitness in his late 40s or mid 40s, I can't remember. So basically in his 40s, right? Yeah, he's still alive. In his 40s, basically we still got 10 over years to go. We can still hit our peak fitness.
I will be peak
in your 40s.
IG. Huh? PIG. I'll be peak. Oink. Okay.
What was that?
Do you want to talk about any other things here?
No.
No. You don't want to talk to me?
I don't talk about all these things anymore. They are like
irrelevant now.
passe.
Yep. I hope you guys learn a bit more about how not to be a failure. But yeah, I guess maybe also me not posting podcasts that often. Sometimes I also think, shit,
you a failure.
I fucked up. But yeah, I guess I always take one step back lah. I guess that would be very helpful. Always when you feel like you fucked up, or like why am I not like this? Always like, or like not say not like this, but why am I not good enough? Yeah, always take one step back and try to look at the bigger picture. Yeah, you're not good enough in respect to who, to what, I'm not smart enough with respect to what situation, in what topic, in what context. Yeah, and when you look at the big picture, it's like nobody's gonna be perfect with everything. Yeah, if someone looks like he or she is perfect, they probably have a traumatic self that they're hiding, I feel. Yeah, we
But then, okay, I feel like thinking that kind of way is not very helpful. Because it's like, so what if somebody is worse off than you? It doesn't mean that you can't.
No, so the idea is like, even when you try to compare yourself with people who are perfect, that's what I try and go to you. They are not that perfect.
Or maybe the thing is to just not care that they're perfect. You know what I mean? Just like, okay lah, then they lead their life, you lead yours lah.
Everybody, you can find your own niche. You don't have to be the best in something. But and like constantly putting yourself down in comparing
doesn't help
people
anyone,
won't
doesn't help
lah.
yourself. Yeah.
So look at the big picture. Try to look at the big picture. I'm not saying that definitely everybody is able to do it. But if you realize that I think a lot of things doesn't matter, and just try to focus on the things that matter lah, like the people around you. Try to develop meaningful relationships. I think at least for me, that's how I see it lah. Yeah. So I guess that's it. Thanks for listening to podcast. These topics are a bit all over the place today, but I think it's okay because you enjoy it, right? So leave a like, smash the like, leave a comment, leave a like. Like
if you're listening on Spotify.
If you're listening on Spotify, please go to my YouTube page, the video, and give me a like. Spotify cannot like, right? Can you? Just listen to it a few times, then make sure the plays increase. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you have topics, please suggest to me. It has been difficult to come up with newer topics, especially topics that maybe we are not very familiar with. You can always slide into my DM. You can always leave a comment on my YouTube page. Yeah. So thanks once again, and we see you guys in the
next one.
Bye bye.
Bye.